Just tell us about how it felt to be back in the car and practice today, and your outlook for this weekend. By the way, it's good to see you.
Yeah, it's obviously it's really good to get back and run some speed and get somewhat adrenaline pumping again. Thankful for everything that Brian has done over these last 4 weeks and what he's going to do this weekend. So we appreciate that, and FedEx for sticking through it with us, and obviously showing us a lot of support. So it's definitely good to be back in a car, and really just starting what hopefully will be a good race, a good run in these next 17 weeks.
Okay, questions for Denny? If you have one, raise your hand. No questions? Denny, thanks for coming in.
You got
I'm
it.
just kidding. Let's go with Alan, Bob, and Jim. Alan, Bob, Jim. We'll get to just as many as we can.
Denny, Alan Cavana, NASCAR.com. Is it physically painful to be in the car going around with the G-forces and all that, or is it just the threat of further injury that is keeping you out?
There's no discomfort inside the car at all. Really for me, the most discomfort I have is getting out of the car. That's why we're choosing to go through the roof versus the window. It's much easier on me. And really any kind of twisting we can keep out of myself will be good. So, really inside the race car, I feel just like I did 6-7 weeks ago. So excited about this weekend and finally getting back going again. No, it took us 1 minute 6 seconds twice in a row. So I think that we're going to be plenty good if caution comes out to come out and preserve a lap.
Let's go with Bob Pockris and then Jim Noble.
Bob Pockris, Sporting News. Can you take us back, like what's been going on as far as like the last couple of days? What did you need to get approved? Because I think we all thought you'd definitely be getting in the car, and then it seemed to be kind of a last-minute thing.
It's a process. Obviously, anytime you come back from major injury, it's a process. We had an amazing group of doctors that looked my scans over, saw me in person, and obviously it wasn't a full consensus for Richmond, so we decided to err on the safe side and sit Richmond out. And knowing that we were basically what we were going to do this weekend was going to be the equivalent of a quarterback basically hiking the ball and taking a knee, we were going to very much minimize our risk this weekend of re-injuring ourselves, which gives us one more week to then heal. And we're going to rescan next week, and obviously just make sure everything's still intact and everything's where it needs to be.
We'll go with Jim Noble and then Lee Spencer. Go ahead, Jim.
Jim Noble, ESPN. Just over to your left, Denny. The last couple of days, since you got the bad news of Richmond and then the good news yesterday, what kind of emotions have gone up and down on the spectrum for you? And is there any sense of trepidation that a big one could happen early before you're able to get out of the car?
Yeah, as far as the emotions, it's part of it. I fought with the emotions really hard in Martinsville. They subsided a little bit each week that went by. What I'm most excited about is what challenges ahead of us. We're going to have to make a big run these next 17 weeks if we're going to be part of the postseason. So I'm excited about the challenge. I think that our chase has got to start right now. We've got to perform each week like it is a chase race and do everything we can to get wins, because if we don't win, it really doesn't matter. So we've got some great tracks ahead of us. That part of it is exciting. So obviously I felt pretty confident I was going to be in at Talladega, even though the official clearing did not happen till later in the week. I was fairly confident, but obviously you never know if doctors change their minds. But we felt pretty confident. As far as the first lap wreck, early on wreck, it definitely can happen. We've seen it here at this racetrack on lap 1. We've seen it on the last lap. I'm obviously going to put myself in what I believe is a safe position. Obviously, you can't help things like blown tires or whatever that could possibly happen, but like I said, I think the equivalency of our risk this weekend will be taking a knee.
Let's go with Lee, Jenna, and then Ed Hinton. Go ahead, Lee Spencer.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Denny, what have you learned about yourself over this ordeal? What have you learned are your strengths and your weaknesses?
There's a lot of things that I've identified as my weaknesses, more so to have to do with the competition side. I understand what makes me a race car driver because I've been so determined to get back in the car, win, lose, or draw, no matter what the circumstances or the repercussions might be. But obviously, I've had a lot of great people around me that have protected my best interests. And really, if this was the old NASCAR and this was the 80s or 90s, I would have been racing at Martinsville. But NASCAR has put in place some great people with their medical staff, and they ensure that my quality of life is not endangered when I get on the racetrack. So I thank them for that, and obviously the format in which we have to make the chase, I'm grateful that that's still an option. If this was the old system, we'd be long out of it. So it's there's a lot of good things happening that gives me a lot of optimism. But as far as the on-track, the strengths and weaknesses, I've identified those, and Darian knows about them, and I've told him what things that I think that we need to work on, whether it be team or pit stops or any of that stuff. I've got a lot better perspective of, and feel like we're going to be stronger now out of this.
All right, let's go with Jenna, Ed, and then Claire. Go ahead, Jenna.
Jennifer, AB, this isn't my official question. I just want to clarify. When I talked to Darian today, he said that you guys would play Sunday by ear and the flow of the race, and if you were just riding around the back, that would determine if and when you got out of the car. Are you definitely getting out of the car on Sunday?
Yeah, I'd say that's probably the most. There's going to be caution at some point, and I'd like to get out and just ensure myself of one more week of healing versus trying to, come back in the middle of round 6.
You say with a smile. Okay. So if we were betting that you're getting out of the car, you're telling us we should bet yes, you're getting out of the car?
Is there that bet in Vegas?
Okay. 10-4.
Okay.
So you're coming back. You're cleared to come back. What do you feel? Can you sleep? Or are you like, is this like Christmas morning to you?
Yes, for sure. Last night was just, I'm the most unenthusiastic person when it comes to super speedway practice, racing, much less practicing. But last night it was tough to sleep, knowing that I was going to get back in the car for the first time. So it is. This is a exciting time, and obviously, if it wasn't for my crew chief, I would have, stayed out there till I ran out of gas. But it's exciting for me. The excitement will really be big when we get to Darlington next week, and we're able to participate in all full activities, and which I can now. I just am choosing not to in the race. But when I get back in the flow of normal racing and working on handling and setup, here it's just about driver comfort and making sure every nut and bolt on the car is tight. So that's pretty much what speedway racing is right now.
You really couldn't sleep to come back and take a name.
Well, I just wanted to feel speed again. It's we're competitors, and when you see the people that on TV and other sports fighting through injuries to get back on the field or the court, we feel that same thing. So it's we have alligator blood. It's I don't know what to say. It's just we're a different breed that are willing to throw caution to the wind, just to get back to what we love doing.
All right, Ed Hinton, Claire B. Lang, and then Tom Jensen. Go ahead, Ed.
Ed Hinton, ESPN.com. Denny, due to the nature and location of your injury, there's been speculation out there on the internet that if you came back too soon, there's even been description possibility of career-ending injury. Just to clear the air on that, is that kind of thing not even part of the worst possible scenario that your doctors are giving you? Can you just kind of clarify that part of it about how much, where there might be any risk of much worse injury for you?
I have to be careful with this, the answer of this, but there's going to be risk. There is risk. There's risk until, I don't know the exact science, and no one knows the exact percentages. Nobody knows, and that's what makes this really, really hard. But with bone healing, it doesn't matter if you break your arm, you break your leg, or whatever. A bone takes a year to heal. That's realistic. But as far as I've been told and understand, it would take such a significant hit that you probably would be injured from it even if you were 100% healthy, as far as I understand. So I don't. It's very hard. I gotta let the doctor speak for that a little bit more than me, because I don't know the risks exactly, and neither do they. So we're just trying to buy myself another week, obviously, until Darlington. But the risk is so minimal that it's almost not even there.
Claire B. Lang, Tom Jensen, Nate Ryan. Go ahead, Claire.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Do you are you more fearful now, more respectful of this, or less? Is the first question. Do you feel like coming out of this, anything will be more careful for you that you'll have to watch out for?
Not really. When I was in the car in practice, you would think when you're coming back. I know. With my ACL, I was cognizant the first time I actually went running again for the first time, just trying to be, I was scared of it. This is a little bit different because my symptoms from this went away after 1 week. I felt no back pain in the fractured area. So, for me, I'm only being limited on what I do, the twisting, the jumping, the running, all that, just because I'm told to, not because I am scared or fearful of it. So it never even crossed my mind in the car. So I think that it's really a non-issue going forward.
And you were talking about in the day, without NASCAR being so careful and you having to jump through all the hoops we followed most recently, what would you have done? Would you have been able to get in any earlier? Would you have pushed it any sooner if it was in the day than NASCAR kind of holding you back and saying, no, you got to go through these hoops?
Well, I will say it's not really NASCAR. It's none of this was NASCAR not approving me. They relied on their medical staff. They relied then on my medical staff to give us clearance. Obviously they're the ones that see me each and every day, so they're hands-on with me. So NASCAR has put in a place their medical liaison staff to help with the clearing process. All they do is once they get the okay from the doctors, your personal physician, that's when you're cleared. They really don't have a say-so yes or no. The only thing that we that is different is that you're either cleared 100% or you're not. There is no clear with a contingency. So they make sure that all their drivers are safe.
Denny, Tom Jensen, Speed.com. I'm looking at the math, and if I'm doing the math right, you're 71 points out of 20th. Have you guys done contingencies about how many races you figure you need to run, an average finish, and so forth to make the chase? There is a formula. What it is, we don't know. We are going to start collecting points 1 week sooner than what we originally thought. Last year when we tried to, when this happened and we started figuring things out of missing 5 points races, if we just did what we did last year, we would make it. But nothing is a given. As much as I like to say that, I'm going to win 2, 3, 4 races before the chase, and we've done it numerous years, it's no given. So we've got to, we have to just treat it like it's last chance. It's Game 7 every single week for the next 17 weeks, realistically, for us. We know, realistically, if we win 2 races, I'm going to find it very hard to believe that we won't be part of the chase. I don't think anyone that has won 2 has not made it. So Usually, if you won 2, that means you're running pretty well, and more than likely that will put us in the top 20. So, unless we have catastrophic failures, that's also part of the equation that we can't afford right now.
Just a quick follow-up to that. If you're treating every race as a Game 7, are you more aggressive? Do you set your cars up differently? Do you take more chances?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think that we will be more aggressive. I think getting to 20th in 17 weeks, we could probably do that. It's just a matter of whether we can win the races or not. Luckily, our team cars are running really, really well right now, so that's very uplifting. So we're in a good spot. We gotta capitalize when we're in those race-winning situations late in races. We've got to finish the deal.
Let's go Nate Ryan. Nate Ryan, Stan, Reed, George, and if we can, we'll finish with Jenna.
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports. Denny, just to clarify, you've been approved to run the whole distance Sunday. Okay. So you're having the scan next week, though. Is that just precautionary? Is it scheduled? Are you supposed to have that? Is there any chance that that scan could turn something up and say you're not cleared anymore? It just seems odd just to make sure that.
It was scheduled. It's been on the schedule. I mentioned, even through media that after Talladega we were going to get scanned once again. Basically, I was very much on the edge of being 100% cleared by Richmond, and we knew. My thing was is there any chance of regression at all? Is there any chance that for some reason bone growth is stopped, healing is stopped, and from what I understand, that's not the case. The reason we are getting rescanned again, and we're going to keep on doing it really throughout the year, it's just to make sure that healing is still going on. It's still, everything is still in place and aligned. So it was a scheduled scan. The chance of us getting rescanned and it coming up negative to where we can't race is little to zero. Like I said, it would have to mean I'd regressed, which is almost impossible when you have a wound.
Stan, Reed, George, final question will come from Jenna.
Yeah, Denny, Stan Creekmore with RPMtonight.com. Who makes the decision whether you get out of the car before the checkered flag or after the checkered flag? And how much was Joe Gibbs involved in the decision that you start the race today?
He wasn't, I wouldn't say he was a part of the decision. He was part of the discussion. One thing that as a driver, you're always kind of worried about your ride and making sure you still have a seat. But he made it very clear that this year does not matter to him. It's down the line that he's wanted to make sure he had his driver. So he was going to err on the side of caution. Whatever the most conservative doctor was, he was erring on that guy's side. So once we were approved, he was game for it. And obviously, as far as deciding when I get out, it will be my decision ultimately. I mean, if I don't get unbuckled, then I don't get unbuckled. But it's, obviously, I don't want to run a race, similar like I did here in the fall, just kind of sitting in the back, just waiting on the big wreck and then driving around it. So, I'd rather give my team an honest shot at a win by putting Brian in and letting him go up there and be aggressive, because you're not going to win these races without being aggressive. And I don't want to be aggressive right now.
Reed.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. Denny, how quickly have you and Brian been able to make the exchange at this point? And is it his insert that's in the car?
I'm not running.
And where is that where it needs to be for the race?
Yeah, I think it's 3 minutes or 2 high twos or something like that you will lose a lap. But it took us right at 1 minute every time we rehearsed it. So we're going to be plenty fine there. Everything's pretty seamless.
George.
Yeah, right next to Reed. George Diaz, Orlando Sentinel. I read somewhere you've been rehabbing maybe 3 times a week. Can you take us through that, and what's it like? Is it torturous, or what type of grind has that been for you?
It really hasn't been too bad. It's a lot of it is the same stuff that I was doing before. It's working on your core strength. It's working on your hamstring. Everything that supports the back is what we've been working on. So really, my rehab has been basically just workout sessions, not anything unordinary that you wouldn't see at a normal gym. So. Been working a little bit on, they have like this traction machine that kind of works on your spine. I've been on that. I've been on a bone stimulator every day. So there's a lot of little gadgets and whatnot that I've been on, but it's been pretty easy.
What's a bone stimulator?
I don't know. I think it's some voodoo machine. I don't even know if it works.
Jenna?
Mulhern says he knows what it is.
A bone growth stimulator? Yeah, well, yeah. It's weird. I don't know.
The Phoenix race after your knee surgery, why'd you stay in the car?
Well, I felt like I had put my team in a very bad spot by getting hurt outside of racing. I was playing basketball, doing things, being more aggressive than what I should have, and I put them in a bad spot. So I stayed in to tell them that basically that I was sorry and I was going to do whatever I could for them. So I was trying to make it up to them that I made a mistake and that, I'll make up for it. So we did go 2 laps down in that race because of battery issues or something like that. But I don't know. There was no risk of what damage was done there was done, and I had to just move on from there. But it was more for the team than anything. Very badly. That hurt worse than what this does in the race car. Obviously, when I did fracture my spine and hit the wall, that was obviously the most hurt I've ever been. But as far as pain, but it's in the race car. Literally, I have no idea that I have any pain inside.